G'day there. Hi. Welcome to Melbourne Unreal, where we are mastering music and mastering life. I'm Tony Jack the Bear Manson. We're here at Deluxe Mastering in Melbourne, Australia, the world's most livable city. And I'm really so happy today that I've got Briggs in the studio.
No worries, mate.
So good to see you, man. It's great.
Man.
It's funny. It's funny. I don't believe in coincidences. About a month or so back, I was running a workshop here, and one of the kids from Shepparton was telling me about this guy called Briggs. He said, "You got to check out this guy Briggs. He's fucking insane." So I did all my research and my homework, and I absolutely fell in love with this guy. I said, "Fuck, I've got to get him on the podcast. I just got to." So I put it out there. Got in touch with Briggs' manager, and after a few emails, he said, "Yeah, look, Briggs is down." And just a few days ago, I was at a restaurant, and this guy was sitting 2 fucking tables behind me. I couldn't fucking believe it. It was just like, get fucked. It was nuts. So anyway, so as a result of that, we sped things up, and here we are. So thank you very much for joining us, mate.
No worries, man.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. And
Of course.
And you know, one of the reasons of doing this podcast is it's just talking to people in the music industry about their journey in music, and particularly those who've had to, like, we've all had to overcome adversity in life and challenges and shit, but I think a guy like you would have to, overcome more than the average kid on the street, by virtue of you being Indigenous Australian.
Correct.
So yeah, man, I'm just really curious to know about you, and I've never met you before until today, and I think that's a beautiful thing because it promotes organic conversation, and there's no questions, there's no script, there's no fucking anything. I just want it to be as real and authentic as it can be. So, I guess first off for me, and for people that don't know you, tell us a bit about your story, where you came from, and how you come to being here.
Well, I grew up in Shepparton, Victoria. I was rapping. I love rap music ever since I was a kid. It just spoke to me.
Who are your favourite rappers?
Like Ice Cube was definitely up there, and the Wu-Tang and Tupac and Snoop and
Biggie,
Big Pun, Ghostface. A lot of a lot of different dudes, man. Slick Rick. A lot of the stuff from the South, Scarface, and a bunch of the Cash Money stuff, and I just love rap music as it just spoke to me like as a youth. I think it was like definitely just the cool factor.
Definitely.
Because I like the whole fuck you attitude, because as much as I love rap, I love rock and punk rock as well. You know what I mean? Like, I just love that.
All that shit that's sticking it to the man.
Yeah, and the theatrics as well. You know what I mean? It's attractive to a kid. You know what I mean? Like you want to be around that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's dangerous, exciting. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I guess that's what it was, and I think I had a pretty standard kind of story of just sticking at it for the best part of 15 years or something like that, where I was.
So you're saying you were working on rapping for 15 years before you started getting out there, or you're talking about 15 years?
15 years from now to
in total so far. Yeah.
I was like, I think rap music was strange for me because I could understand a band. I understood how they made the music. Yep. But when it came to rap, I had no idea how they made those sounds, and you know what I mean, all that stuff. So, it was like I wanted to be involved in music. So I started learning guitar when I was a kid, and like it wasn't what I really wanted to do. I always wanted to rap, but I thought if I start there, you know what I mean. At least I'm in the same building. You know what I mean. So I can work my way, to where I want to be. Yeah. And that's just how I started, man. It was just like one thing after the next until I learnt more and understood more and was able to, do, my music how I really felt.
Yeah. So did you have anyone mentoring you or teaching you how to spit, or was it just something you did along the records and?
Yeah. Well, like the only I didn't really have because I grew up in country Victoria. You have more detractors than you do, people trying to push it, especially when it comes to a genre as polarizing as rap music. So I never really had a mentor in that sense where they were going to teach me,
Some
or
fundamentals.
encourage me how to rap. It's just I learned how to rap by imitating my favorite rappers and learning their songs.
Yeah.
And I was a full nerd too, man. Like I was a quintessential rap nerd. I'd read the thank you notes and learn every bit. Like my cousins got to the point where they hated lending me tapes or CDs because
Did they never get them back? Or?
yeah, because I would study them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
like they used to say, no, you just study it. Like it used to get on their nerves.
Yeah.
How much of a rap know-it-all I was. And but yeah, I think that just as part of the love I had for the music is I just wanted to ingest and so much of it as much as I could.
It's almost got to be obsessive, doesn't it? I think when I was a teenager, I remember I was 15. I remember I made a pact with myself, and I said I'd never wear a collar and tie. I wouldn't do 9 to 5, and I'd always want to be doing a job that I loved doing, and I always knew it was going to be around music. I didn't know specifically what it was going to be, but I just worked out early that, fuck man, you're working. Of your waking hours, if you work on the formula of 8 hours sleep, 8 hours work, and 8 hours of just leisure time, that's 50% of the time you're awake that you're going to be working. Which I thought that's a big chunk of your fucking day. You better be fucking digging what you're doing. I just kind of worked out from that age. I said, fuck it. I hated school. I was great at school. I hated school, but I wanted to indulge in this. So sounds to me like similar kind of thing. From your very young age, you pretty much worked out that.
Music was always my foremost. That was always my passion. It was almost my foremost passion. Like, if I had a job, it was only to facilitate my music somehow.
Exactly.
It's like I only ever worked so I didn't have to work.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I do exactly. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I thought like you. It's like, you only get one life, and I was like, I'm not going to spend it working and doing stuff that I don't want to do.
That's existing, man. That's fucking miserable.
You know what I mean? I just didn't want to do that. And like, I understood what kind of sacrifice that was going to be because, a lot of people don't want to make that decision because, you miss out on a lot. Especially if it doesn't work out, because there's nothing that says that, all right, you make that decision, so, now it's going to work out for you. It's like, no, it's like, I always say, making it, is about hard work, over talent. Because talent can get you in the door, but hard work's what keeps you there. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree anymore.
And that was the, that was the whole point. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just work my ass off. I'm gonna just sleep on the floor. I'm gonna go without because I had a bigger picture.
Yeah.
If I could hold out, and sacrifice for this long, I could make it happen.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point. It's like I never wanted to work a job. I wanted a career. I never wanted a job that said, you go here, you put these boxes from here to there, and you go home. Just working for somebody else. It's like I know some, and that's the whole thing with other dudes who are trying to do it themselves. It's like, a lot of people are trained to be like that.
Oh, for sure. And also product of their environment, and their dads do that. But I think, my theory is this. I think that deep down a lot of people, if they're really honest with themselves, they probably want to do something different to what they're actually doing. But because we're these creatures of habit, and we look for comfort, and we look for we're always going to try and go the easier road. People will just sum up, okay, that's going to be an easier fix. It's not what I want to do, but you know what? The pay is regular. I can still go on the weekends and get drunk with my mates and do all that. But like you said, it's a sacrifice. But even if it doesn't work out, I don't know. I don't think there's ever a fucking failure in going for what you love, because even if you fail at what you love, you still are indulging what you do, and there's always going to be lessons to be learned out of that. And it's just going to be a matter of like, okay, well, what have I learned from this, and where can I go from here, and what can I, how can I better myself? At least you're going. The hardest part is always getting started, I reckon, mate. It's just to make a decision and say, right, I'm doing this, and I'm going to fucking go for it. And then it's like a car, first gear, man.
Yeah.
Always a hard work, and then you should build up momentum.
Yeah, I think it's the whole thing as well. It's like, you know, you have to invest because being an artist and looking after yourself and doing what you do, being self-employed, it's not a 9 to 5. It's a 24/7.
Yeah, man. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, you're thinking about like I'm thinking about it right now.
Yeah, totally, man.
You know what I mean? Like you don't stop, and it's like what I do. What I feel like I have is the best job in the world and the worst job in the world. It's a double-edged sword because when you don't want to do it, when it feels like it's too much, it's the worst job in the world. But when you love it and it's on and it's paying off, there's nothing else like it.
Absolutely.
So the payoff is worth it. You know what I mean? It's like when you really don't want to do it and you feel like it's too much.
Yeah.
It's a pain. It's painful because it's like when you don't feel like performing, for instance, and you're tired or exhausted, but you have to perform. It's one of the hardest things in the world.
No doubt.
And you got to go out there and you got to switch it on and you just got to do it because that's what you do.
So what do you do? So how do you? I mean, everyone's I guess different in the process. So in a situation like that, like what goes through your head? Like what's
like it happens to me all the time, especially when I quit alcohol. Like a few years after that, it was really hard.
What drove you to that? How'd that come about? What led you to that?
I seen a couple of my mates get really sick.
Yeah.
One passed away, Hunter. And that really spoke to me because we were all on the same page with our partying and stuff. And a friend of mine, he got diabetes as well, and I was like, no, not for me. That's when I stopped. I was 24 or 5 at the time.
Yeah, and you just managed to just cold turkey.
Yeah, well, like I couldn't afford rehab or nothing. You know what I mean? There was no court-appointed rehab or anything like that. I didn't do anything bad, so I was just done it on the couch.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then you're going from drinking every day to trying to wind it down and chilling out with it and not drinking as much. You know what I mean? And just to go cold turkey. I did dry July. And then after that, I stopped. And so, after I did that, I think, like, all the stuff that you are medicating, with alcohol, numbing, it all comes back tenfold.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially in this kind of industry where people expect you to be a certain kind of person because they see you on TV or they hear your records and they expect you to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that.
Yeah. I hear you, man.
So like my whole thing was like, I got through it, I got past it, away I go. And then I was like, all right, I get to these points where it's like, man, this is real fucking hard, this part. And I just have to think to myself, it's like, man, this is everything you work for. So don't be a bitch. Yeah. And just get out there and do your job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I can't switch it on for an hour, you know what I mean? Like, if I can't go out there, switch it on for an hour and perform and do what I do, people pay good money, you know what I mean, to see you perform and do your stuff. This is your job, you know what I mean? Like, if someone was having an off night, it's a difference. Someone's having an off night at the restaurant and they send out a whack meal, you know what I mean? That's coming straight back.
Yeah.
But what I get is... You don't get that return customer.
Yeah.
And if I go out there and I perform shit, everyone's going to know.
And people can be fucking brutal. I think it's just human nature. You can do 100 things, right? 99 are fucking on point. One's fucking whack.
Yeah.
And that's what you're remembered for. Or at least people seem to remember that first before they remember all the good shit, no matter how fucking awesome it was.
Because it's funny. You know what I mean? Like, but like I understand that. I get it. Like I'm at peace with it, man. And like, because if it happens, it happens. You know what I mean? But like my thing, I always try and snap myself out of it. And when I get on stage, I just try and feed off it and find all the great things that I like, and I think about it. It's almost like a workout, like you're going to the gym or something. You know what I mean? Just like focus. Yeah. It's like, no, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna kill it. Yeah. And then after I get off the stage, then I'm gonna chill.
Yeah.
Then I can go back. You know what I mean? And
just take it easy. Take a load off.
But for that 1 hour, where the people have paid their money,
and
they're coming out to see you do your thing. For that 1 hour, I can at least
you honour it.
Do my best to. To not do a shit show.
Yeah. So tell me about getting out of Shep. So, because I'm thinking, it's one thing to be in the city where it's the wheels of industry are turning, and it's kind of down your door. But coming from the country, like, what's it like coming, moving from Shep to Melbourne and starting?
It started with, like, because I never had my license either. Like, not up till a few years ago, you know what I mean? So as a youth, when I was 16 or whatever and coming down to the city, it'd be like, it's a train trip. And you're at the mercy of the train schedule. There was 2 trains a day back then from Shep to Melbourne and Melbourne to Shep. There was one in the morning and one at night.
How long did it take? How long was the round trip roughly?
2 hours 40 minutes
Each way?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 hours 40 minutes. And there was a really early morning one. There was like a 7 o'clock, and then there was a 6 o'clock train back, and it was like, so you're at the mercy of those trains. Like, if you miss that 6:30 train or the 6 o'clock train, you stay in the night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if you miss that morning train, you have to wait, I think, until the afternoon train.
Right. Yeah. So it's a lot of hours fucking gone, mate.
But that's what I mean. It's like you had to be on.
Yeah.
And so I think, that kind of built my work ethic, because I'd build my whole day before I went down. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to catch this 7 a.m. train. I'm going to get there at 9 something. And I'm going to go to the studio. I'll be at the studio by,
Was this a mate studio that you'd work out of? Or
I used to go to I go to my homeboy. Used to go to my homeboy 76's Stronghorn in Oakley.
Yep.
So that's another studio.
Another hour of this fucking
hour of train.
Yeah.
So you'd be out there. You take another hour out. I'd maybe get there at 11. 11 to like 4 is just hard. Just like
slog.
Bars. Just in the studio, like no breaks, just trying to record.
Yeah.
After 4, you kind of got to start winding it down to be on the train by 4:30 to get back into the city by 5:30 to make sure you're on the train by 6.
Yeah.
To be going back home, or you stay in the night. And like I've done the stints, like sleeping in the studio and all that stuff, sleeping on the floor, just because it's like, nah, I'm kind of in a moment, you know what I mean? So it's like, nah, I'll just stay. Yeah. And hoodie as a pillow, and you're knocking out tracks and whatever, and you stay the night and wake up the next morning, bars, and then you move on and catch the next train back. But like that was the whole slog, you know what I mean? It was like, and even traveling down to go to shows. Yeah. It was always catch the train, you know what I mean? That's why I always see the kids like, now actually doing a show in Melbourne, like, come to Geelong. Like, fuck you, come to Melbourne. Yeah. Like, fuck, it's cheaper for you to come here, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same show. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I used to travel from Shep to Melbourne, like, 3 hours or whatever.
Fucking reciprocate the curses,
man, I used to travel to Shep, travel from Shep to Melbourne. Like, no one was coming to Shep. I'd come down, like, source the music out. But I feel like it's kind of, it kind of resonates with the youth of the time. It's like, whenever they want a video clip, they got YouTube. Whenever they want a song, they got Spotify. Yeah. Whenever they want a show, they can email you or send you a message and say, hey, do a show in... Yeah. Like, I couldn't send a message to Biggie and be like, yeah, do a show in Shepparton.
Yeah, man.
You had to write a letter to the fucking...
Dude.
To the fan mail president.
Dude, I remember, like when I was in school, high school in the 70s, when I said, right, that's it, this is what I'm doing. There was no internet, there was nothing, dude. You're right, it was a handwritten letter to the studio in New York, and then, 7 to 10 days to get there, assuming that they read it straight away and they responded, right? And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. But even a phone call, man. I remember I had a mate at work that it was before it was Telstra was a PM. It was known as PMG back then, mate. It was PM fucking G, right? That's how fucking old school I am. And I'd have to ring this guy would have to, I'd buy for a bottle of scotch because the phone calls there were like $2 a minute, right? Yeah. It was crazy. So we'd get this guy. His name is Phil. I don't know where Phil is these days, but fucking bless you, man. And for a bottle of Johnny Walker, this guy, I'd ring him on a certain number, and then he'd punch the number in and then put me through it so I could have a good 5, 10, 20-minute conversation with these dudes, man. And I think for me, as a youngster, I was very lucky that I had, like, mentors, if you want to call them that, but just these dudes that didn't know me from a bar of shit, Briggs. But you know what? These motherfuckers are so cool that they were, because of the enthusiasm and the Americans being they love people that are fucking on fire, and being Australian too, but just the attitude, and they were always open and willing to fucking give me, and when I turned up on their doorstep, man, they just couldn't believe it. Yeah, fuck, because they're saying, yeah, man, come, and I did, man, I fucking rocked up. They couldn't fucking believe it. But for yourself, right, I know you said you didn't have mentors back in Shep, but as you kind of started, getting traction, making music and stuff, did you have people in your life at that point, or peers, or that were...
When I started when I started getting down here, like into the hip hop community, you know what I mean? Reason, my mate Reason, he played a massive part in like just being my mate, and being like an old school dude. I had mad respect for him, and my mate 7-6, at Stronghorn as well. You know what I mean? It's like there was two dudes who really like gave me mad time. You know what I mean? And I was able to bounce ideas off them freely as well. They understood what I was talking about. There was no one in Shep where I could talk about my ideas. You know what I mean? That would understand it. Because like I was pretty much on my own there. There was like, I was the hip hop scene. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like there was older cats there who would know what I was talking about. Like most of the dudes who knew about rap had already moved away or whatever. But 7-6 and Reason were two dudes who really like just gave me the time of day to be able to chop it up with them.
Yeah, cool.
And then like through them I met, the Hoods, who were the same. They gave me the time of day just to chop it up. Yeah, man. And like, those were the dudes who were doing it the best and the biggest. Yeah. From then till now. They're the biggest. Yeah. So tell me about, because I know you just come off the tour of the back end. So tell me about, because some of the photos you posted on your Facebook were fucking insane. Oh, there was one in particular. I think it was in Perth. I think it was just like, this sea of people. It was, get the fuck out of here, man. It was like, it's bananas.
Couldn't imagine what it's like.
It was like in 5 or 6 dates, and it's 10,000 people for us every night.
What's the feeling like, man? I mean, I know it's probably hard to describe it, but what's the feeling like when you got fucking 10,000 people just fucking
it's crazy
on you, man?
It's crazy, but like, I feel like, because like I was saying to my mate, it feels different for me now, given everything that I've been doing since the release of my last album. Like 10,000 people, like on paper, like in theory, that should be everything you want. Yeah. But I wasn't getting that kind of kick out of it. It was like, because like when I'm performing to a crowd like that, it's a performance. It's hard to engage.
Yeah, no doubt.
With an audience, and that's what I really enjoy. That's why I like smaller shows. Yeah, because I get to
interact. It's a bit more intimate. You feel the energy. There's just a different vibe.
And like, that's not to say, like I hope everyone who's seen the shows and stuff loved it, because like me and Trials would, and Keith, DJ Total Eclipse would perform our asses off, man, and go super hard, because we wanted to put on, it's a big stage, you want to put on a big performance.
No doubt.
And but like I wasn't getting, like personally, I wasn't getting that superficial kick out of it. Yeah. Of seeing people scream, like and cheer and stuff like that. Yeah. That wasn't really, like, it was cool. Yeah. But that wasn't where my heart was.
And that's not what drives you.
No, that wasn't what drives me, because like what I liked about these shows was the fact we were doing 10,000 people every night, but it was the message we were pushing. Yeah.
Tell us about the message.
Well, the message, you know what I mean, was about, it's like, there's never been rap music out here on the mainstream kind of level that was indigenous, black, aboriginal rap music. Yeah. And for me, the shows were cool. The shows were bananas. Yeah. And having people scream is cool. But for me, the bigger picture was definitely that was what fed my soul, because that's what I look for now. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like at the end of the day, you know, when I started doing Shep Life, I thought to myself, at the end of the day, if you got hit by a bus tomorrow, what's going to be left?
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
What have you said?
Yeah.
And when I started thinking about that, I was like, all right, you know, it's time to make a legacy. It's time to change things.
Yeah.
And that's what this record was about. It's about changing the platform.
Yeah.
And you know, the Hilltop Hoods offered us this platform to be able to
Express that.
to do this, and
Yeah.
it's the biggest platform Australian rap music has ever had.
No shit.
And they offered it to us, and we're like, let's go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I appreciate everyone that came out to the shows and screamed for us. Like, I'm not saying I didn't love it,
No doubt.
but definitely, like, the bigger picture is what, you know, after the show and seeing, you know, all the posts and, you know, the media and everyone talking around it, saying this is wild. You know what I mean? This is changing.
Yeah.
That's what, you know.
Yeah.
That's what kicked it for me the most.
Yeah. Because I think you, where you're at, particularly being Indigenous Australian, making hip hop, and I think it makes a lot of sense because, let's face it, your culture is all about storytelling. I mean, for generations and generations, it's the stories, right? And hip hop is
it's an oral history.
Absolutely. So, you know, and music's just one of those beautiful things, man, that unites people, engages people, and I think in particular with you know, the black white issue in Australia, you know, you've got a very powerful medium to be able to, you know, to put a message out that, because I think, again, you know, this is the longest conversation I've ever had in my motherfucking life with an Aboriginal Australian, and I should be almost ashamed to say that, but fuck, man, I'm loving this. This is fucking awesome. But, you know, I think also to be able to sit down and have a listen to, you know, because people listen, man, and people, we're emotional creatures, man.
Yeah.
We feel, you know, we fucking feel. You can't help but feel. So I think that, you know, here's a great opportunity that you have to be able to try and, I mean, I'm not saying, look, I'm not naive to think that, you know, you're going to write a song that's going to somehow magically, because there's always going to be those cunts who will be cunts no matter what. But at the very least, to try and bridge it a little bit, you know, through a medium that, irrespective of your colour, creed, religion, whatever, you fucking understand, you feel it, you know, it kind of transcends that kind of shit. Yeah. So, you know, which leads me to this, and that is, you know, I think it's look, being an artist and a creative person is tough at the best of times, man. You know, regardless of fucking where you're from, but to do it from a you know, from a minority viewpoint with no resources, no money, no nothing, makes it fucking hard, and that's what I give you added fucking props, dude, to be able to do that. So really, man. So what were some of the things that you had to you know, overcome as you were trying to, you know, initially get it out there and get people to take interest, you know, in terms of labels and people that could actually take your idea and actually make it fucking reality?
Well, I think, like, because my whole approach when I started this was like, I looked at the dudes like Master P and Jay-Z and stuff, who are like, you know, fucking, we make our own label, and that was my whole attitude. Yeah. I was like, fuck this, you know, I'm nice. You know what I mean? Like,
no doubt. I can vouch for him. This cunt's fucking awesome. I love him.
You know what I mean? I could make my own label. Yeah. But like, I think because, you know, the thing is, when you're doing work, when you're making work and you're doing work for yourself, that's when people take notice. Like, no one just gets, you know, well, back when, you know, no one got signed just for nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? People took notice of this artist or that artist because they were already working. Yeah. And that was my whole thing. I was like, no, I'm gonna fucking make my own label. Yeah. You know, I was talking to the Hoods and I was talking to all these other, you know, artists and rappers and label dudes, and like, I was just not interested in what, you know, a label. Like, my goal was never to be signed to a label. Right. I was like, nah, I'm gonna just keep doing this, you know, independent, like Jay-Z, like Master P, you know what I mean? I'm gonna make my own records, do it my way.
You're master of your own destiny, bro.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, so the Hoods come along and they had Golden Era records, and basically were like, look, this is the deal, you know what I mean? Like, in a business sense, it's the worst deal in the world for them, which is great for artists, you know what I mean? And like, the whole idea behind it, which is the same kind of idea as my record label, Bad Apples, which came, you know, just this year, it was about just nurturing and cultivating rap music of their friends.
Yeah.
And I was about, when I started, doing all my stuff and putting it together, I was like, I want to build an empire. But it's not an empire for me. It's like I want to build a good, solid foundation. I want to build a house for all the squad.
Yeah.
So they can all come through and have somewhere that is real for them, and somewhere where their music's going to be safe and they're going to be respected, and people are going to know in that house that everyone is going to be respected.
Yeah.
And everyone's worthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, my whole thing was like, I wanted to try and take the obstacles and the mistakes away that I had to face. Yeah. Because like, I made mistakes, man. Like,
fuck.
Like, doing this shit. Like, fuck, that's how I learned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I learned. I used to do all my own press and PR and everything, man. And like, I remember one time I was emailing out, some PR or whatever, and I was just cutting and pasting because I got lazy. And then this PR, this editor hit me back and was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just hitting you up, for my, EP or whatever." And he was like, "You're going to email the editor of a fucking magazine and you're just going to cut and paste. Like, what kind of bullshit is that?" And like, fully ripped me to shreds.
Right.
And I was like, fuck. But like, at the same time, I was like, thanks. You know what I mean? Because like, that's what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Like, stop being lazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're going to address the editor of a magazine, you address him as the editor of the magazine. Don't just cut and paste. If you want to put in the work and get the respect, put in the extra 10 minutes fucking personalising.
Yeah, the letters and the envelope and that it fits to that particular person.
Yeah,
so they know that you've actually thought about them and you've put in the effort.
Yeah. So, and he chewed me out and he was like, but then he's like, I hit him back and was like, fuck, you know what? I'll wear everything, you know what I mean, that you said. That's truth, honest. Thanks.
Yeah, man. But you know what? It takes a big person to be able to do that, because it's easy for some people to take that criticism, take it personally on board. Say, hey, you're just fucking chewing me out because you think you don't like me, or you woke up today with a fucking express intention, some conspiracy going on. And you know what? That's the thing, man. It's criticism. As much as we don't like to be criticised as such, but sometimes, even when it comes from haters, man, sometimes I find even haters, even though their intention is to fucking put piss and vinegar all over you, but sometimes in that there's actually little jewels of truth if you're open enough and objective enough to stand away from it, take away all the emotional story that you spin around it, and just look at it for what it is.
Yeah, my thing was like I never read critics. I never read reviews, good or bad. Like, my manager would send me a review, like, even on the latest stuff, would be like, "Oh, there's a good review." I was like, "Any quotables? Can you use it? Whatever, man, I don't care." Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, like, I'm appreciative that people take the time to check it out, but, I don't make my music for the critics. Yeah. You know what I mean? I make music to impress my mates and for my community. You know what I mean? So, like, how can I expect a critic, like, just hypothetical, middle class white dude who went to a private school living in Brighton, how's he going to understand my record when I'm a country kid from the ice capital of Victoria? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and like, not to say that everyone from, who matches that, demographic is going to not get it, but if they do or they don't, doesn't fucking matter to me. Yeah. Like, what I care about is the people I'm trying to reach like it, and they respond, and my community feels it, and my fans feel it. Yeah. And I feel like I'm making the best possible music, and my label feels like it's dope, you know what I mean? And my peers are like, fuck, it's on. That's cool, man.
Yeah,
like, that's what I do it for, you know what I mean? Like, I could give a square root about critics at the end of the day.
Yeah. What's that saying about critics? They never built a monument or erected a statue to honour a critic.
Yeah, man. It's the truth. But, like, what else they say? It's like, you're never as bad as they say, but you're also never as good as...
Yeah.
And that's the truth. It's like, whether people are blowing smoke or they're trying to detract, I could care either way. It's like, if you love it, good for you.
Yeah.
If you hate it, I could give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I think that's a big part too. One of the big things I think of being successful, and I've been a very late, and I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I was a very late adopter of this. Is to understand that at the end of the day, whatever it is that you set out to do, you for a long time, and this is me speaking for myself. A lot of it was about trying to get validation, looking for the validation from the outside, from other people, peers and friends. Oh wow, you're fucking amazing. And once the penny dropped, I was like, hang on a minute, it's not about that.
no.
You do fuck all to be validated. The validation comes from within yourself.
Yeah.
The self-love within yourself, and then the love of what you do. And here's the irony, bro. Here's the irony. When by doing that, the love that comes back is like fuck. Do you know?
Yeah.
Without even fucking asking for it, it's just like, where the fuck this come from?
Yeah, what you
Crazy.
project.
It's crazy. You know, and that. I'll tell you now, kids, do it for love, and that's it. Forget about all the other shit. Everything else is just a fucking automatic consequence. But man, I just admire you so much for having that. You're so calm and so serene. And dude, I don't. How old are you now?
29.
Fuck off. Go fuck yourself.
I'll be 30 this year. 30
Dude,
this
let me
year.
give you some perspective here, right? Fucking 29, I came back from overseas. I came back. So this is the recession that we were supposed to have. Right?
Yeah.
I knew a pot to piss in, man. I had nowhere to live, I had no job. I had 10 years of great experience behind me, learning my craft. But I was the angriest cunt, you would have come across, man. And I fucking hated on the world so fucking hard.
Yeah, I get my anger out on my songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, and just fucking drugs and just, you know, my possessions, man, were fucking a second-hand futon couch, a bong, a mixed bowl, a stoker, a stainless steel one, mind you, not a fucking shit band.
That's a Shepherd and starter pack. Man.
You know what I mean? And but I'm fucking looking at you, bro, and I'm thinking, fuck, you know, as someone that works with youth, loves dealing with youth and inspiring youth and particularly artistic, creative kids.
That's what I did too. You know, when that was one of my jobs.
Well, that's the other thing that dude was saying that I met this right, and they said you two got to fucking look up, and it's just amazing here we are. You know, we got some parallels, but dude, you know, and again, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, bro. Sincerely, like to see a guy like you at your age, when I compare myself to that age, that you've got your mental faculties together, you've already been through a lot of shit, you're achieving, and you are becoming and already are a fucking great role model within your community, but also for the wider community too. Yeah. Because there's, do you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's like, you know, I feel like you know, I just try and stay like myself, like for the whole way. You know what I mean? Like people people change because they adapt. Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah, sure.
And they grow. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like my moral compass, you know what I mean, is pretty on point. Yeah, that's why I try to stay. Like I stand up for myself. And I stand up for other people who, you know, don't have that platform. Yeah, because that's the platform I'm afforded. Yeah. So if I have to stand on that platform and be the lightning rod for racist comments and all this stuff to get a point out and point across. Yeah. I'm going to be that dude because I can wear it. Yeah. Because I can be that guy. Yeah. You know, it doesn't bother me when people call me names. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care.
Water for ducks back, yeah.
Yeah, I could give a fuck. You know what I mean? But for other people, that's really detrimental to them because they don't have that kind of, like, I've always said, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I can always go home. Yeah. You know, my family support me and love me. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I can always go home. Like, yeah. If all this shit, like all this Briggs, Bad Apples, you know, rap shit, just all imploded tomorrow, it's like, all right, I'll go home. Yeah,
and it was a good time, and it was an enjoyable experience, and you'll always you'll take that to your grave.
It's like, and I'll fight tooth and nail to keep it above, you know, you know, the water line. But like, if it's out of my control and I can't do anything about it, what am I going to do? Like, if the plane goes down, I'm on it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But that takes a lot of fucking maturity and wisdom, though, man. That most, you know, guys in their girls in their 20s. I mean,
I think the thing is, man, is like, I understand how hard I had to work for it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
you value it.
Yeah. And so I understand, you know, as hard as I work for this and as hard as I, you know, try and keep this, you know, above the water level, you know what I mean? It can still go. And that's part of knowing that is a part of the beauty of it all. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like of business. It's like, you know, everything's got an expiry date.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is.
Yeah.
You know, you can think this is the coolest thing right now, but at some point in the future, be it like a year or 20 years,
Yeah.
it's going to be done.
There'll be some expiry date.
And that's the thing, is like, because I've had to work so hard for it, I work hard to keep it up, but it's also organic. You know what I mean? I grew it from the dirt in the basement. You know what I mean? I grew it from the dirt. Like, this was never at any point handed to me.
Sure.
And said, all right, we've built this machine here. Now you look
You
after
take it.
it.
You fucking take it from here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this has been my car from the start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's had a few passengers now and then, but it's always been my ride.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, because I put that work in, and I know how hard it is to get. You know what I mean? I appreciate it a whole lot more than, because I know how much harder I had to work. You know, like in the morning, like, you know, I gave this analogy to a mate of mine. He was a white dude, and he was talking about like white privilege. He didn't understand it, and I said, well, put it to you like this: like, you and I wake up in the morning, and before, like, we both open our eyes. You're in your house and I'm in my house, you know, in the same suburb, and we open our eyes. Already, I'm more likely to be arrested.
Yeah.
Already, I'm more likely to have diabetes or heart disease or a mental illness.
Yeah.
Or to have committed suicide. Or already, I'm more likely to have not even opened my eyes at all because I'll be dead.
Yeah.
I said, that's the difference, man. Before we even get out of bed...
Already, it's already, there's cards stacked against you statistically.
Before I even get out of bed, these are the obstacles that are in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I see something like, when you look at my life like that, and the fact that anything, like any one of these things could happen at any moment, this rap shit, all this other stuff, all this, you know, fame or whatever the fuck, it means fuck all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, because all this over here could end that.
Sure.
Like that.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So, you know, I'm trying to get all the important things right in my life. And I love doing this. This is my job, and I love it. You know what I mean? I love inspiring people to change and do things and make a change. But you have to understand, you know, at any point, that could be fucking gone.
No doubt. No doubt. I think another thing in all of this is, and again, this is just my experience, but maybe, I don't know whether you share this or not, but I think there's a lot to be said also in, while you love what you do and you dedicate yourself to what you do and you dream big and you visualize all these fucking outcomes for what you want to achieve in it. But there's also something about, after you've done that, is to just learn to lower the importance on it too. Not to just fucking say, oh fuck it, I'm throwing, but just kind of like, okay, this is what I'm into, this is what I want to do, I identify this way in the world, but then go, okay, I'm just going to lower the importance on it, because if I stress too much about it, then that's going to fucking start bringing up a whole lot of other shit within myself, and that's what brings up negative self-talk and all the others.
That's the thing, you know, like what you're saying, is like even what I found doing the Hoods tour, anyone would be like, that's the dream tour, you're doing a stadium tour with the Hoods. It's like, yeah, of course, it's beautiful, it's great.
Yeah.
You know, on paper, it's all the things that you want to do, but, you know, personally, like, just as me, Adam Briggs, I wasn't feeling 100% about it. But I found...
Why weren't you feeling 100%, or what was it that wasn't quite... And when you say 100%, what do you mean by that, and what was it?
I wasn't getting the same kick out of it.
Right, okay, got it.
I feel like because I've been doing it for so long, you know, I wasn't getting the same kick. But what I did find was a new way to enjoy it.
And how was that?
Which was through, you know, the bigger picture idea.
Right.
Of like, look at what we're moving. You know what I mean? This isn't just about, like, if this was just about me going out and doing a song about nothing and then walking off stage, you know, like if someone told me, no, you're not doing the tour, it's cancelled, I could give a square root.
Yeah.
But because this was about a movement, it started to be about a movement, and this was about, we're on the biggest, you know, Australian rap tour
You could be on.
You know, in Australia.
No doubt.
And we are who we are, and we're pushing the message that we're pushing, then it means a whole lot more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I found. I found different ways to enjoy it. Like I've found different ways to enjoy my success by helping other artists with my label, Bad Apples Music. Because now
What's the name of your label?
Bad Apples Music.
Bad Apples Music, motherfuckers.
We're not hiring. We're really not. No, but like, you know, that was the you know, that's where I was getting the kick out of it. I was like, man, I'm making a difference because now I'm starting other dudes who have that younger hunger, you know what I mean? Who got that, who want to go out and burn everyone, you know what I mean?
Man.
Like they're going in. I'm like, that's cool. I love that. Go out there and do that. And that's where I'm finding, you know, I still like making records and performing and stuff, but again, it's just, you know, when that loses its potency, as everything does, you know what I mean? I find now it's like, you know, I'm finding different things in different aspects of the industry that are fulfilling those kind of feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, there's a lot to be said in being able to pay shit forward, and sometimes that's all you can do. It's like I said, as a youngster, having these A-list engineers who didn't know me from a bar of shit, had no obligation towards me whatsoever, but were still willing to fucking take me on their wing, show me the ropes, give me not only fucking lessons in how to fucking twiddle knobs and make records sound good, but also just life stuff. Because the two were all very much intertwined and gave me foundation and shit that I still remember to this day. And there's nothing I can do for those cunts now. And they want nothing from me. I mean, that was all done, like you said, in a generosity of spirit. That was just about, I'm just doing this because this is what I feel in my heart. I want to do it. It's the right thing. I get joy from doing this. But now, what we're doing is just effectively just paying it forward because that's all we can do. Share knowledge, because there's always going to be people that they're looking up for people to inspire them. They're looking for people to give them information to help them out, especially when they're really young and they're trying to start out. Because the hardest part is as I said to kids, the two hardest things in life are getting started and not quitting. Yeah, they're the two hardest things. So
I could have quit 1 billion times.
Can we all? Absolutely. But I think for a young kid who, you know, who's got his nose up against the glass and looking in and just wanting, you know, they've got stars in their eyes, or, you know, they've got the hunger.
You tell them, it's like, the door's over there. It's like, get the nose off my fucking window. The door's over there.
You know? But again, it's just they're looking for people to fucking talk to them, but also to talk to them honestly. Because here's the other thing. I think that sometimes people don't want to hear, as you said earlier on in the podcast, you're talking about it's about the work and it's about doing the shit you don't want to do. And sometimes you just got to fucking pick yourself up and just fucking do it. You just somehow you just got to fucking push through. And sometimes people don't want to hear that. And it requires a real fucking honesty, bro. You know, and saying shit that sometimes people, I'm at an age now where, you know, I wish I had your wisdom when I was 29, dude. You know, because I lived so much of my life worrying about what other people were going to think of me, how I was going to be fucking perceived. I wasn't going to, you know, careful of what I was fucking saying. You know, now I just don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck. And it's freedom and it's empowering. But now to just tell these kids shit. Even today, man, I called my guy. I said, fuck, I don't know how you say this shit on Facebook, man. I couldn't say it. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'll say it. Kids need to hear it, man. They need honesty. And when it comes to kids especially, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And kids these days, man, they're fucking detector. It's so fucking sensitive.
They're smarter, man.
They're
smarter, they're quicker.
No
they're
fucking
hungrier.
doubt. No fucking doubt. You know?
And that was the whole thing with, you know, with what I was doing. I was like, if I'm not doing it, if I'm not speaking out about, you know, racism or you know, even the state of music and rap music in the country, who is? Yeah. And so I was like, well, fuck it. Like, I'm going to be the dude that I wish was around when I was coming up.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, you know, one of the hardest things of being an Indigenous rapper and being black and trying to get into rap music in Australia was there was no black dudes on the TV to look up to apart from Americans. Yeah. So you're like, I don't identify with these other dudes. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna make this record with Trials, another you know, black fella, and I'm gonna make a hot fucking AB original record. You know what I mean? And that's what this is about. It's like, no, we're gonna be the dudes that we wish were on, you know, that we
the
wish
guys
we
that we could have looked up to back then.
Yeah. So it's like, so it's not about like them being us. It's like saying you can do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, like look at us. Like, we're rappers. If you want to be a photographer, fucking be a photographer. You want to write. You know what I mean? Like, you can be whatever the fuck you want.
No doubt.
And that's like the biggest thing at the moment, like in my career at this point, whereas I'm like, you know, I'm gonna change I'm gonna change the way rap looks out here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just change it because fuck it.
Yeah, good on you.
You know what I mean? Because
Good on
like
you.
I'm not attached to it. You know what I mean? It needs some shifting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna open up the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For these younger kids who may have thought that rap in Australia wasn't for them because it was mostly white dudes.
Yeah.
And so we say, nah, your voice is as important as anyone else's, if not more, in rap music. So come through. You know what I mean? Let's do something.
Yeah, because let's face it, it's storytelling, isn't it? And again, we just said before, you guys have been, as in your culture has been telling stories, and so everyone's got a story, man, and so it's important that they get to express themselves.
Yeah, and they're interesting stories too.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, tell me, what about overseas, man? There's, I mean, I know I saw an interesting thing where you went on BBC. That it was up on your thing for a little while, but do you think much about America or England or anywhere else
Yeah, like my first trip overseas was to London with the Hoods. The Hoods took me to London. And I did shows and London and Germany, man. Like, and I'd never even thought about going to Germany. All I knew from Germany was the History Channel, and that wasn't exactly painting a great picture for them.
No, exactly. No doubt.
And but I loved it, man. As soon as I did that, I knew the importance of travel and to speak to other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to, a manager last night, and I said, man, there's two things that I don't give a fuck about spending however much money on, man, and that's good food and travel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both of them, I'll spend whatever the fuck, as long as it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And, so yeah, England was bananas, and so was like Germany was as well. Yeah. And then I went to the States.
Yeah.
And that was the same, man. I was like, I went to New York, and then earlier this year or later last year, I went to LA for about 3 weeks. I think I was out there, and it's
how's the experience over there for you as an Australian over there? And did they take you more as a novelty, or did they look at you and they just took you on face value, and they just gave you that fucking...
Yeah, because like I didn't go over there as a novelty. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck if you're English, German, American, or whatever. It's like, I'm not there to be disrespected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I'm here to make music, and like, not to say I went over there hard body, like you're gonna respect me.
No, I understand.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I get it.
Like I went in like, let's make music. I didn't go in there like a clown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, all right, let's work. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk. Let's chop it up. And they were feeling the same stuff I was on. You know what I mean? Because like they seen the moves I was making. I'm doing the TV shit, music. Writing, acting, whatever. And then I was in New Zealand just last week. Again in the studio with P Money and Savage.
How good's P Money, man?
Hey, he's the man.
Fucking how good is he?
He's a G.
Fuck yeah.
He's a G.
Totally.
And that's the thing, we were in there just working, man. Just working. And like, I don't work with people for the sake of working with them.
Yeah, no. It's the wrong attitude, wrong approach.
No, we chopped it up when he was out here. We're like, cool, we can do it. Yeah. Like, because I'm not going to sit in the studio for fucking hours a day with someone I don't want to be in there with.
Nah, man.
Fuck
nothing
that.
worse.
Fuck that. I don't give a fuck. How many platinum records you got?
Yeah, I
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm sitting in the studio with you, I could give a square root how many fucking platinum records you have. Like, we just got to be able to chop it up and work. Like, if we can vibe on the same idea
and
about...
Because
that's what it's about, as I've been saying, man. It's not about... It's not about, the superficial for me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm beyond it. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I want to make the stuff that changes shit.
Yeah. One of the great lessons I learned is the Americans, and one thing I tell kids is that when what I call what one of my mentors, Brad Burton, calls a relationship economy.
Yeah.
And it's all about, the formula, meet, like, know, and trust.
Yeah.
Okay? So, again, like you said, it doesn't matter about how many platinum or gold. If particularly when you're talking about writing, in my world, in mastering, man, you're in, even if you don't like me or whatever, it's not a very long experience and you're kind of out the door and it's kind of like whatever. But when you're going to be writing and spending long periods of time, man, in a confined space, because let's face it, you're in a confined space and you hang with these dudes. If you don't like that person, you don't trust that person, you don't feel there's a synergy there.
Yeah.
You can make magic in that, mate. You can create good shit in the idea that you're both on the same page and you're both working towards the same thing.
I've walked out of workshops and shit, man.
Yeah.
People, it was like, and it's not even to say that they were bad people.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, we're not on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Like, we don't listen to the same stuff.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make the same stuff. You've got a different idea about what, rap music is or whatever. I was like, look, we're gonna have a better day if we just don't hang out. I'm gonna go get some lunch.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of which, we got to get a bowl of pho, dude.
Yeah, man.
Fucking, we got that pho place in Preston. Fucking, how good is it, dude?
Primo, man. I'm there at least once a week.
Yeah,
at least.
We'll have to go and slurp a couple of bowls of that joint, man, because I like getting down there as much. But still, I can't believe you're 2 fucking tables behind me, bro.
Don't worry about that, mate.
Anyway, all right, babe. We're gonna wrap it up because I know you got things to do. But
Indeed.
brother,
Thank
fucking
you,
bring it in, bro. Fucking, you are awesome. You're
Thank
fucking awesome, man. Thank you so much for making the time and just fucking have this. This has actually turned out better than I expected. I didn't have much expectation, but honestly, dude, this has just been a fucking awesome conversation.
No worries, man.
We have to do it again, off camera and on the camera at some stage. But
They get that pho, son.
yeah, we'll do. We'll do.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. All right, then. Guys, thank you for joining us. It was awesome. We'll see you again real soon, and I'll sign up by saying, as I always do, please be nice to each other, but more importantly, be nice to yourselves. I love you fuckers. Thanks a lot. See you guys. See ya. Bye.